Hey guys, and welcome back to The Letter. I always say it in that same tune. It's the tune that's just constantly stuck in my mind. Anyway, we're playing as Hannah now. I'm gonna be real, Hannah should divorce her husband, as I keep saying. I don't know, get with Marianne. She's a pretty woman. And, just Hannah deserves better in general.
And a good friend of mine, Rochelle, is expecting a baby. So, why don't we think about putting a crib in there too? I can just imagine little ones running around, filling this place with the pitter-patter of their feet.
Oh, does she want children? But you can't have a child with Luke. Like, you can already tell he's gonna be an abusive father.
We'd have to make sure they don't trip and fall on the stairs, though.
We won't be able to finish everything up until after the party. But we'll have it ready by then, so that all we need to do is to move in the furnishings.
Yes, that's plenty fine. It's not like we're in a hurry to have it. And we wouldn't want the workers to disturb the guests or the other way around, do we?
Thank you. Finally. It seems so far that, like, I can't get a good read on Hannah because she seems to be very respectful of people and, like, actually, like, a generous and kind person. But at the same time, she was just very much like, oh, Isabel. And I'm like, no, that's Isabella. And she didn't really seem to care, which was kind of like, that pissed me off a little bit. But she cares about workers, which is nice.
Just make sure it's presentable. You know, in case a guest snoops about.
Of course. As for the kitchen you wanted, I've already negotiated for the high-end stoves and the hot and cold drawers, so on and so forth. I've got a friend who was able to customize them so that they'll look like the counters we'll be replacing and fit the rest of the interior. They'll be bringing them in today.
Why can't you people do anything right? Don't drag it. You'll scratch the wood.
Excellent. But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly too. It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats, living in the city where every room is an identical box. Believe me, this is very refreshing.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine, sweetie.
Aw, sweetie.
Look at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg. Luke wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
She looks confused. Of course, she has every right to be. She, no doubt, overheard me push that estate agent into the sale, making quite the aggressive offer. She saw me sign the papers for the mansion as well. I just had to scoff.
Don't be fooled. I'm just the treasury. I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I see.
That's it. That's all you have to say?
Yes, it wouldn't be appropriate to comment further. It is unprofessional.
Unprofessional?
I can't help but let out a deep sigh as I stick my fork into a dish. I didn't want professional. I want someone who will either agree with me, who will either agree with me, even if it's just for the sake of agreeing, or someone who will try to talk some sense into me. Neutral responses are so boring. There's no discourse in the middle ground.
The food is good. Best bubble and squeak.
Of course it is. Our kitchen staff only uses the freshest hand-picked ingredients. Only the best for the rights.
Mr. Wright is not joining us?
No, he is far too busy bossing people around. He even refused to join me for breakfast earlier. Hence, this.
I see. My apologies. I really don't know what sort of response you expect to get from me.
There is a clatter of silverware as I slam my hands on the table. It is frustrating. I am frustrated. At Luke, mostly. But Marianne's neutral, professional answers are certainly irksome as well.
You're a human with feelings and opinions, aren't you? Don't give me this bollocks about being professional when we're having a nice, friendly chat over a nice and friendly breakfast. I can only talk about interior designs for so long, and I detest one-sided conversations, Marianne.
But I really don't know what to say, Mrs. Wright. We were talking of no topic in particular, and...
Luke. We were talking about Luke.
About him not eating breakfast with you?
About him treating me as if I were some treasury.
I didn't realize that I shouted that out loud until it was too late. There's a stunned silence that settled before I slumped back into my seat. Hiding my face behind my hands, I could feel my shoulders shake. Breathe, I told myself. Calm down. But it's just so hard.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like he doesn't love me anymore.
I mean, yeah, it's because he drinks and he flirts with other women and he's like... He just seems like a shit person, and get out of it and maybe date Marianne.
Oh, have I been so blind? Did he ever love me at all? Was our marriage all for the sake of saving his company and his wealth?
Also, I just noticed that her hair in her little profile down there is different from her hair in the big picture. She has bangs in the smaller one.
Because...
Just a little interesting thing.
Because?
Marianne's still as beautiful as ever. Did I say all of that out loud? Again? No, this is bad. Unacceptable. It has been rumored before, the real reason for our engagement. But if anyone were to know of this, marriages of necessity to carry on political and financial power used to be a common thing. But the Evans Rights Union is a perfectly happily ever after. Was supposed to be. It's true that we first met each other in order to discuss dealings to make the then failing Wright Enterprise and subsidiary for Evans Incorporated. But I do remember being in love with him, and there were times when he said he loved me back. Even if I'm not sure of what the truth is now. Either way, I do not want the Wright name or the Evans name dragged through the mud because of a slip-up. And if Marianne so much as talks of this, just ask for her silence. She seems nice. Yeah, I'm not gonna be mean to Marianne. I'm rooting for these two to get together, so. Marianne is a good sort, isn't she? So far, she's been reasonable and accommodating even towards Luke's ridiculous requests. Patient and professional, did it only extend to business? Or would she be able to understand that things like this are not as simple, not as clean as they are painted to be? Certainly, I can talk to her. Ask for her.
I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright.
Thank you. I love you.
Not only am I contractually obliged to, it would also go against my principles.
This woman, I don't know her that well. I like her. She's tall. She's hot. She could step on me if she wanted to. She could step on Hannah. I'm here. I don't know if I should say I ship it yet, because I still have to see more of the dynamic, but I'm definitely like, dump your husband for this hottie.
This is no one else's business but your own, and it should be kept between the two of you. And whoever you wish to seek counsel from.
You're not a counselor though, hun. Like, you have to take care of yourself.
Please, Marianne. You have to understand. These sort of affairs. If anyone were to know this, they could just twist it and we'll be ruined. All I ask for is your silence on the matter.
Do people really care about that kind of stuff? Like, as long as you're not doing anything like controversial, you know, like your husband literally, you know, being a racist piece of shit, then I don't see why it's a big deal.
If I am to be frank, Mrs. Wright, this isn't new for me. You aren't the first, and you certainly won't be the last to have complicated dealings. Unless what you're doing is illegal, I turn a blind eye.
Can I trust her?
If I wasn't in the same boat, I'd be trying to pry those secrets and gossip with you about them by now.
Well, I'm keeping that information confidential as well.
It's not like I have any other choice, do I?
Thank you.
Yeah. We continue to eat our meal in peace, finishing the last of the food and drink. When the door in the parlor opened, Marianne and I are just sitting in silence.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
I give him nothing but a small nod.
This was a wonderful meal, Marianne. You're free to return to your duties. I must excuse myself.
It was my pleasure. And thank you for the food as well.
Making my way downtown, walking fast. Luke's fat ass on the ground now. He doesn't have a fat ass. He's skinny. But he's on the ground too because it's all the girls here that he's flirted with, and then also Zach because, you know, the racism, and we're all just curb stomping him. Okay. Making my way downstairs, I look back and see Marianne give me a nod and a small smile. This certainly put me in lighter spirits. I could feel the flush rushing to my cheeks as she turns away, her beautiful black hair flowing behind her. An interview with Luxury Living. That is today, isn't it? Oh, yes. People had caught wind of our new mansion the very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted he could acquire the property in no time, and I allowed a photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled today. Well, there were complications, and it took longer than it usually does for us. Hopefully, I won't have any other unfortunate slip-ups with someone who isn't bound by confidentiality. The matching grounds has... Please learn how to read, Stormy. The matching grounds has been one of the first things to be fixed up, aside from the bedroom. Although it's still a work in progress, it had a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. I want to double check right now what day we are at. We're at... Oh. But that's when she died? Okay. Okay, just curious. Luke's favored daffodils stand out easily, having been transplanted from the pots that used to litter the rooftops of our penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them, they clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. Hey! Hey! Oh my gosh, hey! Zach, are you here to kill Luke? I'll help you! It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He is hard to miss, the hulk of a man that is the hulk of a man that clearly did not belong. And the big backpack and suitcase he has with him makes him look much larger. It is a peculiar sight, seeing someone who looks like it is handling little delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am. Hope you weren't waiting too long. But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
You look familiar. Have we met?
Yeah, you know, your husband may have said, like, a slur at him, but, you know, it's cool, right? You know, it's cool. I would have divorced his ass right there, but whatever. I have a very wide social circle, so everyone looks familiar at one point or another. But one would think I'd remember someone who stands out like him. Just someone so beautiful. The struggle to recall must have been evident in my face as he quickly and kindly answers my question.
Oh, I was with Isabella, your estate agent, when she had the house blessed.
Oh, yes, that's right. Small world, isn't it?
Should have known you were Miss Wright.
The one and only.
Do you want to apologize on behalf of your husband?
Welcome to Maison de Right. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed. But it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
He's so sweet. He's so cute.
Hannah, if I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hannah.
Sweetie. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can in fact trust him, his skills with a camera and experience in the industry, at the very least. He is kind and courteous, listening and following him as I lead him around the house. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever we cross paths with him. I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They're quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he has procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruits, lemons, trays with peppermills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are brought in for the kitchen setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things, too. Too numerous to count. All in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
I took photography my senior year in high school, so like, it's weird being like, oh, the shutter speed. I completely forgot what that does. I don't remember a single thing.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms one at a time, although we first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore. Oh, this is so pretty. Would you care for a dance, Zach? The ballroom needs little preparation with its grand design, although there is some trouble at first with the wide open space and the pictures being backlit. Zach, would you care for a glass of wine? I have such a lovely array of, fine drinks down in the cellar. If you're interested, I would love nothing more than to show you around down there. It is in the kitchen that Zachary props come in handy, considering how Johan's kept the place so neat and sterile. One could practically eat off the floor. Or in the basement, where we keep all our wines. All our casks. Is that what it's called? Like, the cask of Amontillado, a cask is what holds wine or liquor, right? I wouldn't know because I'm a little baby. I'm a little baby bean. We carry on, touring the house and taking pictures where we can, with exception to the rooms which have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at his photos yet. Funnily enough, he's using a traditional camera. I didn't even know film still existed. With the way he speaks, however, I could see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I think he'd be nice enough to, let you peek at the pictures. Zach's a nice guy. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging by how easy he looks while taking pictures. There are small snippets of conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes as far as to talk about these terminologies like shutter speed and aperture when I ask about technical aspects. I can quite see the pictures as it is made. I can't quite see the pictures as it is made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. But watching someone passionately practicing their craft, such as it is, exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms has been quite the exercise for both of us. Yay! Friends! Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. But as if we are taking pictures in the foyer, that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. If Luke comes out here and says a slur one more time, I'm gonna kick his fucking ass. Just a moment. And had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. Oh. His finger doesn't move. Oh. Finally, someone's seeing it. Jesus. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter. Yet, he doesn't pull away from the camera, from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shake, and there's a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach? Is something the matter?
Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning around, though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something I saw.
It took Isabella dying for you to be like, oh shit, there's ghosts. God damn it.
Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggle to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat. Everything stops. And everything starts again as I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there's this unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line, sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so as I see his shoulders slump, and his easygoing air fades away. He looks torn over whether or not he should talk about it or not.
Films, documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing.
Don't say that, Zach. You should be proud of your work.
People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. But I can't. I took Spanish and then Latin. I didn't take French. Bleu foncé, le hair la plus sombre des noirs britanniques. Are you kidding? Dark blue, the darkest hours of the black British. He speaks with the passion of one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There's conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he is an amazing speaker if only I wasn't so engrossed listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and in the workplace, from my own husband that called him a slur. Wow, I care so much about his cause, but I'm still with a person who really just said a racist thing. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances for being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and let me retry that. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general still being treated like second-class citizens, all because of the color of their skin. It's all just positively riveting and sad. It comes to a point wherein he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he had just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
He's a beautiful human being in general. Look at him. He's super cute. Oh.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
Okay. 2 ships. 2 ships now. I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? No, it's because you're a privileged white woman. I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. You know, you don't need to play the pain Olympics, as I like to call it. Like, you're allowed to suffer. Like, everyone's allowed to suffer, but I mean, it's good to look outside yourself and realize that, like, hey, you have privilege and other people are suffering around you. Oof. I certainly don't know how I would have fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke? And would he still love me if I were any lesser? No, he wouldn't. I'm sorry, girl.
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've...
And with that, we'll hopefully hear what Zach has to say next episode. A little cliffhanger. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening. I really appreciate it. And I hope you smell some lovely flowers today. Anyway,